Hello, welcome to the final word. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. The Toffee's getting an unlikely point at the Emirates Stadium, but a very welcome point down in North London. Ped, very good result.
It's one of the greatest points anyone's ever achieved.
Said without laughing.
I did say that. And
is it that?
I don't know. I just feel like that's what Everton might tweet.
You say that, but I don't know if Everton would tweet that as well.
They might say since the 1st of November, this is one of the greatest points achieved.
It's the 1st October.
I know, but I'm just changing.
You're changing the parameters.
Don't want to be consistent.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It was a good point. It was a very good point. It was an unexpected point. And
we go from there.
So far in our horrendous block of fixtures, we've had two big results. Can't argue with that.
A bit of everything. A loss, a win and a draw and a postponement.
Well, I was just more looking at the postponement and the draw. I wasn't looking at anything else.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, the block of horrendous fixtures started on December the 1st, and you can't just ignore things. Who would just be taking games off, without referencing them? No one does that. Only crazy people reduce games from what you've played. The team was pretty much what we expected, bar obviously Dwight McNeil was injured. We didn't know that one until the team come out. Jack Harrison came in for him, which meant that Everton lost the delivery of set pieces. We didn't have many, but it meant that one of probably our biggest weapon, which is a set pieces, which has resulted in 57% of our goals this season, meant that we didn't quite have the person who's delivered, takes most of them anyway and delivers them more accurately, easy for me to say, than others.
Apparently Thomas Tuchel was there to watch him as well, so I heard.
And the game, Arsenal started on the front foot, as you would expect at the Emirates, but I thought particularly Ashley Young had a really good game against Martinelli, because Martinelli is quick and he has got a trick up his sleeve and stuff, and I thought Young defended really well against him. Obviously Saka's a different prospect on the other side. He was their shining light, I think, all afternoon for them. But in general, Everton did really well to sort of, that first 15 minutes, to sort of kill any vibe that was there, didn't it? And it really, really suited us, because we've seen, not of recent times, but at times at Goodison, when away teams come and they're out to get a point and it kills you. 15 minutes, the game goes flat. It's almost like you've lost that home advantage in that. I felt like that early on at that game, that Arsenal, they were never getting up that sort of head of steam.
Yeah, I think they needed a quick start. I think their fans were nervous just because coming off the back of the Fulham game. And obviously, I think, being where they are points-wise in the table, they know they can't have too many more sort of slip-ups. They need to get in that good run of form. And I think there was nerves going into this game. And I think with it being one of those games as well, mid-December, no real hype around the game, can they just do the job? Can they go out there and just do the job quietly? And they needed a quick start. I think that's how you get onto Everton, is if you can start well and make them nervous and don't let them settle down. Then gets the crowd going, gets the Everton players, gets the Everton fans feeling, it's going to be a long day. And I never really thought they did that. I thought they started really slow, and I think that really helped us. And we'd spoken last week about taking the game almost in like 15 minutes and just getting through. And obviously they're going to have a lot of the ball, but it's very difficult when Everton get the shape right and get men behind the ball. We know we're not a very good offensive team, but we know when the shape is there. It's been the bedrock of Sean Dyche's time at Everton, is the back four and the midfielders in front of them, like literally everybody in front of them, just doing that job to protect and say to the opposition, you're going to have to do something really big today. And I thought we got through without just a couple of scary moments. Obviously, like Tarky's header back to Pickford, and Branthwaite giving a silly under hip pass, which seems to have been his trademark since he came back. I didn't really feel like, obviously every time they took a set piece you do sort of hold your breath a little bit, but I thought, to be fair, their set pieces were a little bit more orthodox, just trying to put it in the right area, where I'm more worried where you see like all of the Arsenal players sort of gather in one area and they all just like scatter. They never really did that. I thought that was quite easy.
They had a couple of moments either half, but other than that, you're right. I mean, Everton, ironically, after that first 15, had the best chance early on, and it was a breakaway. Calvert-Lewin does really well. It's fouled. The referee plays a good advantage, and Mangala plays the core in. And again, you look at it, and the ball's coming at an angle. And I think he can just guide it first time, but he doesn't. He lets it run across him, which takes him away a little bit. Yeah. And he slows it down. The next, I know, you've had this conversation, you're absolutely right. Once he slows it down enough, he should let Gabriel just spin past him and just cut back onto his right foot, and then he's got the chance to guide it in the far corner. He doesn't. He waits and waits and waits. I think the manager alluded to this afterwards. He was too slow in the action, and by the time he gets a shot off, Gabriel throws himself, it hits him and goes into the side netting for a rare corner. But I felt like a good opportunity to certainly to test Raya, if not to put Everton 1-0 up.
No, he should be hitting the target, shouldn't he? Even sort of basic strikers, I would imagine there, you know, whether you meant it or not, you're pulling Gabriel in, and then he's helping you because you're allowing him to get in front of the goalkeeper, cut it back onto your right foot, and then pick anywhere you want in the goal. I don't even think if Gabriel had been there, that would have gone in. I really don't. No. I don't think it would have gone in. I don't think it would have even tested the goalkeeper. But as soon as you see him, you think this is an opportunity to sit him down, take the keeper, make the first move, and then pick your spot. And I just think he got it all wrong. Whether he meant to actually get into that position in that way, because it was a nice little move. It was a lovely little angle. Again, shows you the lack of pace in the Everton team. Is that how it? I think there's like a still with Gabriel's, basically over there somewhere, and there's loads of space, and it's just like classic Everton, isn't it? There's such a lack of pace in the team that when we do anything, we always give the opposition a chance to get back. But in this case, getting back could have been the thing that helped us score. But once again, we can't take our chances. But it's like that in most games, isn't it? We're picking apart one moment in the game, the one chance. This is something we do quite a lot, is that we're picking these one moments apart, whereas the simple fact is the general play doesn't allow us to have more than one chance in an entire game. And those moments, you get the feeling with those things that they have to be early with us, because once the opposition settles down as well, they're not letting that happen again. They're going to settle down as well and see how we're playing and how we're going to break them down, which is generally we're not.
No, but that's what we do. We don't, just the way we're set up and the way we play the game, and the manager, the way he plays the game, we're not set up to create chances. We don't have overloads. We don't move the ball quick. So it is a little bit sort of formulaic. But when you get them moments, that's why they are big moments, because you know that you don't get many of them in a game. You have to be clinical and stick it away. And he hesitated. From an Arsenal perspective, they got in a few times, like you've said. There was one where Jordan Pickford done almost like a volleyball shot to keep it away from Havertz, which was a bit of a mad one. One where he played the ball to Tarkowski, which popped up, and he's ended up having to knock it out. But they did get in, and it was Odegaard, wasn't it, who possibly should have scored. I think Saka got round the back and cut it back, and Pickford made a good save and hit the defender and spun over. And you're looking at them thinking, do not give these too many of these moments, because they will score. And we had a couple of moments like that in the first half where you were a bit, heart was in your mouth a little bit, because we just hadn't defended the way that we should have done.
Those moments are like, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're actually getting caught out because we are trying to go up the pitch. And Mykolenko, who had a really good game, looking after Saka, that's where he's sort of caught, and I think he slips, doesn't he? And then he's in the box, and Branthwaite doesn't really know what to do with him. He doesn't really do anything. I think he tries to show him one way, and Saka just goes past him. And then he pulls it back, and took the deflection, and then Pickford saved it. But that, I think, in many ways, I think Arsenal were waiting for us, like, because it must be really, the thing about it is these teams week in and week out, they're playing against teams who actually do want to try and score against them.
Yeah.
And that's where Everton do get the look in times. Is like, I think this is the decision the managers made that we spoke about recently. Is like the games where we've gone out and tried to score, we've left ourselves wide open. So instead of like trying to find this other way of playing, he's just gone, no, we're just not going to score. We're just going to say you're not scoring. And we get lucky via a set piece or something, then great. But it's like he's doubled down on it. It's like saying, no, you might get your up. You're going to have to work doubly as hard to open us up, because if you honestly think we're going to be dragged out of position, it ain't going to happen. And I think sometimes when we break, or when we look like we're breaking, the manager must just be like, where do you think you're all going? I know you might have the ball in their corner, but we could still concede here. It's not
exactly a long-term vision, is it, for being successful? Not that I'm not going to criticise it for this game, because this game, fair enough, it was about defending. He'd set up really well. The players stuck to the task. When we had to get the little bits of good fortune, we got it. The goalkeeper stood up, made 2 great saves, and the other saves you'd expect them to make. But it isn't a way of playing. It's not a way that's going to bring you any kind of progress.
It's why teams don't do it. If you're a team who's got anything about you and you're fighting for a European place, well, why not go to somewhere like Arsenal and have a go and try and see what you can get? Because what's the point? Like Brentford, people use obviously the away records to hit them with, and I can understand that, but Brentford are 4 points off like 5th place. And they haven't won an away game. Like you've been beaten in nearly every single one, bar comes of course. But their own records is because they go for it. Spurs are similar, Spurs don't slightly different because they've had more, but Spurs are the same. Won 7, lost 7, and I know it's not all down to the home and the away record, but they're similar. They go for it every single game. It gets you rewards if you're in a certain part of the table. Of course, we're not in that part of the table, and I appreciate that. This is a point ain't where you wouldn't normally get it, and we're in a position where every single point is important. And when you look at how many wins we've got, we've got the points because of the draws. Simple as that. Now people will go, but if we'd won a couple more, we'd be in a much better position. We could have lost a couple more. And won a couple more, and we'd be in a better position.
This isn't the game that I'm really talking about. There's other games where we play like this and we shouldn't. I guess the frustration for Arsenal, we've seen this at Goodison again, with teams or whatever. Even like, I remember Boreham Wood coming to Goodison and just doing the same thing, and it's difficult. And I was looking at them, and the longer it went on, I was thinking, you haven't got that. Apart from Saka, there's no spark there today, because they didn't know what to do. There was people in the way cutting passing lanes down, and it does take a little bit of quality, and we've found it frustrating in the past with teams who do it, and that's why you'd have to give Everton credit, because they did stay disciplined. There was a big moment 3 minutes after the break, ball in, I think it's a corner, it gets knocked up near, and it comes down, Saka volleys it, and Jordan Pickford makes a brilliant save from it. Really, really good point blank save with his left hand, and that was a huge moment, because obviously it's that uncertain zone just after half time, and are the players switched on again when it's restarted. That had gone in 3 minutes after the break, different afternoon, but Pickford makes a really good save, and that again set the tone, I think, for the second half, because he made another one with his foot, which was more of a cross, which he cleared. And after that, they were looking like just set pieces. They had one where they headed it back across the goal, and we got bodies in the way. It was getting fewer and fewer.
Well, of course, what it says to the opposition manager is, we're not going to change the way we play. It's down to you to change the way you play, and you're going to have to make changes. And the changes I found were really weird, because he took Declan Rice off, who his pieces are brilliant, and he took the Odegaard off, who's the person who opens up, and he tried to do it a different way. So it was them who was running out of the ideas. We were just saying, we'll keep doing what we're doing, because actually we're getting quite a lot of joy out of this. And Jordan Pickford didn't. That was a great save, but Jordan Pickford's not having to make loads of amazing saves. And again, it's that mental thing of like, they already know Jordan Pickford generally has decent games against them. And actually, Jordan Pickford actually probably prefers games like this. I think his numbers are sort of better when he's in games like this, keeping him busy and working him and stuff like that. So they were obviously getting frustrated. The crowd were getting. You could see the way the game was going. Probably knew that Liverpool weren't winning, and it all fuels that frustration. And we just had to keep doing what we were doing and not worry too much about trying to exploit any weaknesses, because quite frankly there weren't too many in there. Of course, on another day, if the circumstances are right, you can be adventurous. I thought Dom in possession did all right when he was getting into him and was linking the play quite well, and then it was up to who could join him. I thought Harrison was a non-event for him.
Well, he just worked hard in front of Young, didn't he? But there was nothing going forward from the couple of times he got into really good areas. Like one in the first half, he did quite well, cut in and just kicked the ball off for a goal kick, like over it, the cross, and then one at the start of the second half, the same, and we worked it to get up the pitch. It's like
played it behind Dom,
and then played it
after
behind
Dom had already made the run.
Like,
passed it after Dom had made the run.
These are the moments, aren't they? Because you few and far between. You've got to give your strikers something to go at.
I think if there was anything to be disappointed by, I think Linton was the same when he came on, and Brozier was up front. There was opportunities to maybe. I think there was a couple of times he was on the right hand side, and he was literally. Maybe one person you had to get it over to get it into Brozier, who was in front of their centre-back. It was just like, either play it down the channel, but play it to where it gives Brozier an opportunity, or really get it into Brozier, and they were over it, didn't he?
Well, there was one with Lindstrom, I think they'd had a corner, and we broke, and Brozier was still up there. And there was 30 yards in front of him to run into, but the ball was just in the channel for him to spin into, and he tried to hit it back across the pitch to the other, and he didn't like kick it to an Arsenal player, but he hit it at an angle where they picked it up, and it was like the ball was round the corner for him to make the natural run. Let him get into it.
Give us a chance. Whereas NJ on the other side was obviously, it works it, obviously, whether you think he had a good game or doesn't have a good game or whatever you think about him. He at least tries to work it. You know, he tries to pick it up, and we saw Brozier pick it up, and he had a decent run and sort of get it into the corner and come back, and he kept hold of it. He needed a bit more of that in the second half, where it's actually possession based. It's actually you're protecting the ball, but you're going somewhere with it. But we were too quick to go, oh, we don't want this. We need to get it away. And I think defensively that would have annoyed the manager as much as anything else, because you want to keep hold of the ball. You don't want it to just keep coming back.
You've got to let your defenders have
coming back, and I mean, listen, it didn't. And that's where you do get those. There was a couple of moments where it was like, we could get in here if we played the right ball. We didn't have to be any more ambitious than we were being. We just had to play the right ball and be patient.
Well,
and I think
done my head in the final pass. Done my head. I think there was one with. Patricia done well. He danced around three of them and just came out with the ball, and he played it on, and then it's the next pass after that. It's like, make it get there. You know, find your shirt. It's easy, and we give the ball away, and that really annoys me. The amount, I'm sure it annoys the manager, the amount of times you get into those areas where it's just play the right ball, play the percentage ball if you need to be, but play it like you're saying. Behind Dom, or behind Brozier. It's like play it in front of him so he can attack something, or down the line, or work it, or get half a yard and get a shot in. It's almost like rushing. And when you're working that hard to defend, you do need your ball players when they get it to buy you time on the ball, and that's a real frustration for me. The game drifted on, like you say. Odegaard come off. I mean, I don't know whether Rice was carrying an injury or whatever, but to bring the both of them off, I thought was a bit mad, because he put Jorginho on, which was a defensive position, when he didn't really need to. And I've heard a couple of Arsenal people saying like he could have took another defender off and put a forward on, because Everton were never going to, we weren't looking like we were trying to win the game. No. We were trying to keep them on, and that sort of played into our hands really, because they just didn't do anything really as the game drifted on. In fact, as it went on, I actually thought we might, which is crazy, but I actually thought a couple of times we actually might nick this. The way we had the ball, didn't we, in injury time even, in the final
corner,
bit, like a corner. It's like,
and we should have had another corner when the ball was like 8 foot over the line.
Yeah. And like you say, picked the wrong pass, or just that little bit of quality, but ultimately.
But that's a mentality thing as well, though, isn't it? That's a mentality that's been obviously drilled into the players of like, we're having a punt here,
Yeah, you can't overcommit.
So don't overcommit and don't be that bothered. And obviously with no McNeil, the set pieces they're not the same. No. They don't have the same pace and accuracy on them. So and they are very good. I mean, we dealt with theirs really well, but the couple we had, they dealt with them as equal. I'd like to have seen. I think there's one late on. It was like 93rd minute. I'd like to have seen just a little bit of invention, just something a little bit different, make them think rather, because you mentioned that last week, their goalie has no issue coming off his line and taking them. I'd like to have seen, it's down to Woney and Stoney at the end of the day. The manager has nothing to do with it. Woney and Stoney, you've got thousands of hours of football. It's up to them to box them off, and just that's where I think it's important. But I always think, well, probably when they just throw it in there, that's like saying, well, if we just throw it in there, we won't do anything stupid, and therefore we won't concede on the counter attack. It's like it's all part of the defensive master plan. But listen, I think when the final whistle went, I think we were all just like, that's another one ticked off, and we've got a point. Good point. And it doesn't, add to any more of the drama or anything else. We don't need that. It's obviously disappointing because I think Ipswich scoring in the last minute just added that little thing. It was going to be like a pretty perfect goal them, but them scoring. But at the end of the day, we could have got beaten. Ipswich could have won. Blah blah blah. So we've been the Emirates now. We've got a point. It's another clean sheet, and since the 1st of October, I believe we are got clean sheets in Europe. Really? Just got that stat off the top of my head. I just found that one. Okay. So yeah, since don't ask me why. Since the 1st of October, that's just a date. That's just a date I've picked. It's just a date I've picked.
Okay. One player who I thought did have a very, very good game for Everton was Idrissa Gueye. Let's have a look at his stats. There we go. Passing accuracy 94%, 2 out of 3 of his tackles, 9 out of 13 of his ground deals.
4 out of 4 dribbles.
4 dribbles there, and his ball recoveries, don't know, 7 maybe. I can't see
11. There's 2 numbers there, and you came
I couldn't because I've got a light. I'm bending around the light.
No, you should already know.
And he done, Liz, your seat map as well, and I thought he did have a very good game for Everton. I thought Mangala did well. Tarkovsky had a good game, Ashley Young, but Idrissa, I give Jordan Pickford man of the match because I thought he made the key things which
he was
got
the best outfielder.
But Idrissa was easily the best outfield player and done really well.
Yeah, he was very, very calm, wasn't he? Very, very calm. He never panics. That's his biggest attribute. He never panics. Knows the game inside and out. Picks a pocket, then is calm. Doesn't just whack. Because sometimes you can. Sometimes you win the ball, especially in your own box, and there's a temptation to just whack it away. And if there's players everywhere, that can do more harm, but he's very calm. He'll drop his shoulder, and sometimes you got your heart in your mouth a little bit, but he's so calm and he picks his moments, and again, doesn't pick up yellow cards and like that. He's must be such a brilliant player to have, and I know people have questioned him, and I do still see people going, he's the biggest problem. You're like, what are you on about? He's like exactly what we need right now.
Biggest problem in terms of what?
I have no idea.
Biggest problem if you're an opposition player, because he's Everton's best midfielder by about 4 years. Let's have a look at the over.
Quite literally, because it's just how old he is.
Forever, easily Everton's best midfielder. Let's have a look at the overall stats from the game. You go 13 shots to 2, 5 on target, none for Everton.
Yeah, none for Everton.
77% possession for the Gunners. Just under 700 passes. Their XG was 1.2 something. Evans was 0.09, which tells you there was.
You'd feel silly having that many passes, wouldn't you? And not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we've had no shots on target from only 209 passes. Yeah, that's the way to think about it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
That's the real winner.
There's so much false economy in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Mad.
Why would you be even asked?
Yeah, that's mad.
We've effectively done what they've done with less passes. Yeah. So economically, we're better.
We're better. Yeah. There you go. What have you made of the Arsenal fans' reaction? Some of them.
I don't think they've taken it well, but at least they haven't taken it in a way that it's against us. Like there's been there's I thought there would be a lot of cry-arsing about the way we played.
Yeah.
But I think they're in that self-destruct moment where it's more about the way they played.
Yeah.
You know, and fair play to them for that, fair play. Some have taken it better than others. I've seen some reactions out there which would compare it with maybe some of the worst atrocities I've ever known in my life. I don't think it was that bad.
No.
I mean, what they don't get is we have to watch us every week. So how would they cope with watching us every week? You know, Arsenal can have off days, but that's just us. That's just us. That's at peak Everton at the moment. So
it is mad, isn't it? And again, of course, there's levels, there's standards and all that, but it is mad that, and again, you probably do this as a football fan, but they have been on a journey that has took them from nowhere, like 8th and like, you know, in recent times, to being a team that has been close to winning the league. And I know the frustration is there, and I wouldn't say that we'd be any different as a fan base if we got close to win the league and didn't feel like we're kicking on. And I understand the frustration this year. City are embarrassing at the moment. They're all over. They're awful, aren't they? And yet Liverpool have wobbled, you know, and Arsenal have played 3 games in that time, and they've dropped points against Fulham and Everton.
If you're an Arsenal fan, the most frustrating thing for you has got to be all the hard work you did in the last 2 seasons to be 97.7% perfect.
Fair play.
Right.
That 0.7.
And if you were doing that this season, you'd be moonwalking it. You would be moonwalking the league. And yet this season they're not. And it's left them in, you know, they're third now, aren't they? Left them
to do.
With so much work to do. Yeah. Chelsea have gone past them. Chelsea have got a better squad, which has just sort of gone, all of a sudden. And yet Arsenal had the opportunities to be in that position, but they've done what arrogance, I think, can be the undoer sometimes of these things, of people saying we know better, and it's football fans.
Like, what are you alluding to?
Not buying plays. Not buying plays. Football fans aren't stupid. Football fans know when you lack something in your team, and they lack a striker, and everybody said it, and everybody knows it. And a striker would have unlocked Everton on Saturday. He plays for Newcastle, but you know, no, but it's true though, isn't it? So I can understand their frustration because they just played. I mean, I heard a couple of people say, just played the team that got beat by Southampton. And if you're an Arsenal fan, you see that, you're just thinking, just watch this draw at Fulham. Okay, it's a bad one at home, and you're playing Everton, whose away record is absolutely horrendous.
Won 1 away game in 2024, haven't we?
Yeah, coming up to you know, and it's, if you look at that and just think, no disrespect, they should be beating us. They should be beating us, and they've been ditched.
If you're going for the league, they're that games you win after. You have to win at home, don't you? It doesn't matter if it's 1-0. However you get through it, they're the ones you have to win, and that's probably why they're fuming, because they haven't. So,
but I'm glad none of it sort of went to us.
None of their well,
I'm glad they just know that it's because it's their fault.
It was obviously the first meeting between the two teams since Kevin Campbell passed, sadly, in the summer, and you've seen a couple of banners outside. There was obviously the billboard as well, which he called it the Kevin Campbell Derby, didn't he? So some good stuff around the game for Kevin Campbell and his family. His family were there the weekend. We move on from that then. We've obviously got Chelsea at Goodison on Sunday. That'll be easy. Chelsea 2 points behind Liverpool now at the top, and absolutely flying. Be a tough one, won't it? But no, you fancy that?
Easy.
Got a good, I mean, to be fair, Everton got a good record against Chelsea at Goodison over the last sort of 10 years, so
walk in the park.
Nice. I like it. I like the confidence. I admire it. I'm here for the confidence. And obviously a big week. The Freaking Group taking over as well. The keys to Bramley Moore potentially being dropped through the letterbox, or DPD delivered, or maybe Amazon Prime.
DPD can never get them. Put them in the safe space.
The safe spots you got to worry about there. But big week for Everton Football Club. So good point though at Arsenal. Unlikely point, like I said, but a good point. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. delighted with that point. Who was your man of the match? Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. If you want to become a Toffee TV Premier member, the link is in the description, the QR code on the screen now. See you later.